All right, good morning, everybody. It's your boy Akeen, and welcome to today's vlog. Here to give you some late tips for week 4 of the 2015 fantasy football season. Going to talk about the players that you should bench, players that people have concerned about, and players that you should definitely start this week. Starting with the quarterbacks, Ryan Tannehill of the Miami Dolphins is going to be playing at home against the New York Jets. I suggest you guys to sit him this week. They're playing against a tough Jets defense. Same for Colin Kaepernick of the San Francisco 49ers versus the Green Bay Packers. Now, yes, the game is at San Francisco, and Colin Kaepernick did have a decent matchup against that Packer defense, but I think he's going to struggle in this game. He has been struggling passing this season. He did have one nice game against the Pittsburgh Steelers at Pittsburgh, but I'm still concerned of his playing at quarterback, and I think that you should bench him this week. Now, a couple players that I believe that you should start to replace these two particular athletes are Tyrod Taylor of the Buffalo Bills. They're going to be playing against the New York Giants, and that Giants defense have been terrible against quarterbacks and opposing quarterbacks in fantasy play. And then also, I think you should go ahead and start Derek Carr of the Oakland Raiders. He's shown a lot more confidence this season. I think he's going to be due for a good sophomore year. This week, he's going to be playing against the Bears defense, who have been shut out, who had a bad performance last week against the Seattle Seahawks, giving up 26 points. And offensively, for the Bears, they struggled a lot. They had a big goose egg against that Seattle defense. And because the offense has been struggling, and I think they might commit turnovers in this matchup, I think that's why they because of the struggle offensively for the Bears, they're going to have problems defensively because they're going to be on the field way too much because of the problems offensively, especially at quarterback with Jimmy Graham. I think that Derek Carr is definitely going to profit in this week. Headed over to the running back position, one running back I did receive a couple questions about is Amir Abdullah of the Detroit Lions. This week, they're going to be playing against the Seattle Seahawks. Now, Joique Bell is out with an injury, and it shows that Amir Abdullah should get to start at running back. Probably going to split some time with Theo Reddick, but Amir Abdullah is the feature guy against the Seattle defense. With Cam Chancellor returning, I think he's going to have a bad game for Amir Abdullah, and I think you should bench him this week. Same for the Washington Redskins running backs in Matt Jones and Alfred Morris. They're going to be playing against Philly, a good NFC East matchup for these two teams, but I think that these two running backs, we don't really know who's going to show and profit this week. I think you should bench them this week. Both these two players are actually on the verge of rushing for over 1,000 yards each, but I'm definitely thinking Alfred Morris is going to decline in this matchup, particularly if you had to pick between both Jones and Alfred Morris. I don't think you should start either of them. We're not really getting a full feel of who's going to really get the bulk of the carries, even though it is Alfred Morris' job. He has been splitting time with Matt Jones. Now, a couple players at running back that I believe that you should start this week. Now, Carlos Williams of the Buffalo Bills, he's going to be replacing LaShawn McCoy, who's out with injury, playing against the New York Giants. Williams is averaging 7.8 yards per carry. That's actually the best of all running backs. Definitely a great size, well over 210 pounds. Out of Florida State, definitely could be a good, showing that he's a great steal from the 5th round of this past year's draft. Next up, Melvin Gordon of the San Diego Chargers. I think he's going to be due for a great game against the Cleveland Browns, who's actually allowing 4.9 yards per carry on the defensive side. I think that this is going to be a good showcase game to show for everybody in Melvin Gordon. Next up, Thomas Rawls of the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I think you guys definitely need to pay attention with Marshawn Lynch with his injury, and I think if he's actually still day-to-day, it's 50-50 chance that he will play in Monday night against the Seattle Seahawks, but it's going to be a last-minute call. Now, this is going to be a tough break with this one, and the reason why I had to call out Thomas Rawls because that he did had 100 yards last week against the Chicago Bears, and he will get great touches and good points for you if Marshawn Lynch is not playing. But this is a big risk for you guys because it's a Monday night game. I think you should not count Marshawn Lynch to play in this one. I think that Thomas Rawls, I'm going with a guess in this one. I think Thomas Rawls will get the start and not at running back. Next up, I have a couple questions about Alfred Blue at running back for the Houston Texans. With Arian Foster returning, I don't think you should start Alfred Blue. I think that Arian Foster will be to get that start and not, and go right ahead and start Arian Foster if he is playing, and he should. Headed over to the wide receiver position, Jeremy Maclin of the Kansas City Chiefs finally showed some great game last week against against the Green Bay Packers with 141 yards receiving and scoring reception. Now, it really all lies on quarterback Alex Smith. He needs to take more risks in throwing the football, and he is a great receiver in Jeremy Maclin. I think he definitely needs to keep an eye out for Jeremy Maclin, Alex Smith I'm talking about. But Jeremy Maclin is a good player. He actually could possibly become a top 10 wide receiver in overall play had it not been the lack of play, the poor play at quarterback from Alex Smith. But Maclin is, I think, if you should go right ahead and start this week against the Cincinnati Bengals. Last week, Steve Smith torched him with 44 points in an RPR play, points per reception league. Next up, Calvin Johnson of the Detroit Lions. This is a scare this week against that Seattle defense at Seattle, and Matthew Berry actually said himself that since 2012, the last season, Seattle actually only allowed 2 touchdown receptions at home. This is a big scare, but I think you have to start Calvin Johnson because I think Amir Dell is going to have a bad game in running the football, and I think that Matthew Stafford is definitely going to give him a lot, Calvin Johnson, a lot of targets. Now, James Jones of the Green Bay Packers is a good player that you should probably definitely pick up this week against the San Francisco 49ers. If you think, if you're concerned about your receivers, I think he's an excellent pickup, as well as Jordan Matthews of the Philadelphia Eagles against the Washington Redskins. Headed over to the tight end position. Player that I think you should definitely bench this week is Jordan Cameron of the Miami Dolphins playing against the Jets, because I told you guys I think that Ryan Tannehill is going to have a bad game, and I definitely will show that Cameron should have a bad game as well. And a player that you should definitely pick up, if you're not, you're definitely behind the bandwagon in this one. Jordan Reed of the Washington Redskins. He's actually 3rd overall in receiving yards to tight ends. I think he's definitely a great pickup and a must start this week against the Philadelphia Eagles. And Jared Cook of the St. Louis Rams. Now, yes, they're playing against the Arizona Cardinals, but Jared Cook is a good pickup that you should pick up for the season. At the defensive position, the Vikings defense has actually been doing a pretty decent job in fantasy play, actually in the top 10, but they're playing against a tough Denver offense led by a future Hall of Famer quarterback and Peyton Manning. Do not start Vikings offense, and I think that you should really start Adrian Peterson, but you have to start Adrian Peterson because he's like Jamal Charles of the Kansas City Chiefs. He's their top weapon, the only offensive weapon. Adrian Peterson is a must start. Go right ahead and start Adrian Peterson. A couple of defenses that I think you should replace for the Vikings is the Philadelphia Eagles against Washington. I think they're going to have a good game. And a wild card in this one with the Dallas Cowboys playing against the New Orleans Saints with Luke McCown at the helm at quarterback. Possibly Drew Brees will be there, but if Drew Brees is not there, I think you should go right ahead and start Cowboys defense against that New Orleans offense with second string quarterback and Luke McCown. Now that wraps things up for this week. Next time I'm going to catch you guys, I will try to catch you guys on Thursday for week 5 of this season. Thank you for watching this vlog. I'm your man, Keenan McCall. Be easy.